We will now recognize Ms. Kamlager-Dove for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's always a challenge when committees are happening at the same time. And thank you, Undersecretary Rogers, for being here today. And thank you for meeting with me some time ago. So while Trump is waging a war in the Middle East, this committee is once again sitting on the sidelines. We did not have a single hearing on Iran leading up to this conflict in which Americans have now died, and I'm sure we won't be having any now. I think it is a shocking dereliction of duty. But Undersecretary Rogers, you are here today, and you are responsible for public diplomacy. And one thing I've been pleased to see is the department's prioritization of sports diplomacy. So I do appreciate that you have elevated the sports diplomacy division into its own office and drafted a comprehensive sports diplomacy strategy, 2 of the major directives in my American Decade of Sports. And when we talked, you shared that you had some travel to Milan, I think, in preparation for the Olympics. But apart from that, however, it does seem your focus on tweeting may have distracted you from the other parts of the job, including overseeing the educational and cultural exchange programs that Congress is deeply committed to. Last year, OMB illegally froze $100 million in congressional appropriations for 21 educational and cultural exchange programs, causing an entire year of missed programming. And I'm concerned OMB's unprecedented involvement in the State Department's award review process is going to derail our exchange programs yet again. So, Undersecretary, do you know if OMB is on track to review and clear on all programs by mid-year before we likely see a second year in a row of misprogramming?
I know there are detailed interagency negotiations ongoing. I can't comment on exact dates or deadlines. I will say that my office will abide by the law, including appropriations laws, to all of these programs.
So you don't know, and there's no push to get it done. Okay, so can you commit that the Young African Leaders Initiative, our flagship public diplomacy program in Africa, will receive its award in time to recruit a cohort of Mandela Washington Fellows for 2027?
I can commit that that program is already back online, actually, and we're having a summit this summer. And again, any interagency processes or appropriations or disbursements for FY26, I'm happy to get you details on. I don't have them, but I know Young African Leaders is something that we're doing, and it's going on this year.
Okay, so I think I heard you say it's back online, that it is something that is supportive, that you have details that you will share with us.
My office will share whatever details we can share. My staff, I think, have been briefing the appropriators, and we're happy to continue doing that.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Trump's draconian travel ban includes an embargo on exchange visas for 39 countries, which means we are no longer running educational and cultural exchange programs in a good chunk of the world. So have you asked, are you planning to ask, have you asked Secretary Rubio to issue national interest exceptions for exchange program participants in countries subject to a travel ban?
I know that in Africa, at least, we're already doing that. Those exceptions are being issued. And again, my staff could get your staff numbers, but I don't even have to ask the Secretary because that's ongoing.
Okay, well, I hope, because that's not the information that we've been receiving, and I've had multiple meetings with folks from many countries who are asking us what we can do. So I'm sharing with you on record and asking that you can continue to do that. One of them is Tajikistan, that they're not getting that information. So they're not understanding the waivers. Maybe they're not understanding the directives. It would be great if that could be a little more visible. Many of the participants in the YALI initiative are coming from countries subject to the travel ban. So you did mention Africa as a continent. So my hope is that what we know is that 26 African countries are subject to exchange visa travel bans. So I don't know how that squares with the YALI commitment.
Well, the reason that I mention Africa as a continent is because Africa is also a regional bureau in our State Department, and I engaged with them specifically to prepare for this hearing. And that was the context in which I received information that we are issuing these exemptions.
So it was there that you received information about the work to relieve the travel bans for some of these countries?
I have no reason to believe that that work is region-specific. I think it's national interest-specific, and it would be the same considerations and processes everywhere.
That would make sense. The question is specific to some, so it would be great if you could get us a list of the countries, the African countries, that are now on this list to have a change in policy on the travel bans, if that's what I heard you say.
I don't know about a change in policy on travel bans. I just know that to the extent there are travel bans, there are national interest exemptions which are being issued. And I'm happy to have my staff continue to brief and respond to whatever info the committee wants.
That would be great. We'll follow up to make sure that we get that information. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back.